This
Then,
conference will now be recorded.
Sir, you can continue, sir. You are audible.
yeah, so I welcome all the members of the CIMSME associations, entrepreneurs, and MSMEs who are present, who are here with us this evening. And I'm going to start with the MSME session. What are the policies, registrations, regulations, benefits, and schemes of the Ministry of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises? So, as all of you know, we are going through a very tough phase now. In this particular scenario, it is very important for all of us to understand what is MSME, all the micro level enterprises, the medium sector, and also the large ones who are there in the state of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and pan India basis. So I thank CIMSME for giving me this opportunity to organize this brilliant session, where at least I could tell you something about the MSME, something the knowledge which I can impart to you, and at least the information dissemination part of it, which is very important at this time. So now, to start with, MSME, as you all know, that is the micro, small, and medium enterprises, or you can call it as small scale industries. Those of you, oh, I guess there is some disturbance in the audio.
You can continue, sir.
Okay,
Request all of you, other
so
than the speaker, please.
yeah, shall I continue?
You please continue, sir.
Okay, fine. So this way, so we'll just have a in-depth, or you can say an overview of what are the MSMEs, all the regulations, the what are the compliances needs to be maintained, and how MSME altogether works about. So can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, thank you. So in this particular thing, for the next hour or so, as you are there with me, I'll tell you about what is the MSME Development Act, what is the classification of MSMEs, how the MSMEs are classified into micro, small, and the medium segment. Most of you who are there with this particular segment, who are already an MSME and who wants to graduate from a micro level to a small one, then from a small to a medium one, it needs to understand what is the classification of MSME and how the complete purview works on. This is the first part we'll discuss on. Second, I'll go to the MSME registration, which we call it as the Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum. In other terms, we also call it as SSI registration, or you can also call it as, small scale industry registration, EM part 1, part 2, which we used to have earlier. Now, all those things have been clubbed into one single document called Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum. So, we'll have an in-depth study on this, how it is maintained, and how to go ahead with this. The third one, we'll talk about the MSME schemes. Okay, in these MSME schemes, we'll go through what are the access to credit, the MSME loans available, then the what are the credit facilitation and assistance basically provided to the MSMEs? What are the technology upgradation things which are available? And there are so many things which comes under the technology upgradation, which I've mentioned in the last line, which comes to the intellectual property rights, zero effect, lean, the cluster development programs. All these are nothing but to enhance the technology of the MSMEs. That way, it is there the procurement and marketing support. How MSMEs can be benefited with the procurement and marketing support by the ministry, by the Development Commissioner's office, and all these things will be looked into. Then we have one more core important thing called skill development, which would be a very important aspect moment we go after this phase and moment this hour of crisis is resolved. After that, we'll have to go for the skill development in a full-fledged way, where all we can pitch in, where all we can tell you, where all we can guide you about all these things have to be looked into. Then we'll go into some schemes called international cooperation, okay, how this cooperation is to be maintained, and what are the benefits when you go abroad, and what are the benefits being provided to the micro, small, and medium enterprises in the way how government assists them. So this thing also will follow. After that, we'll have a look into, as I already said, the IPRZ lean and the cluster development programs. MSME Sambandh, very important two sites which I'll be discussing on. In that will be Sambandh, which is nothing but a linkage to the market. It is nothing but a forward linkage. Like the public procurement policy, there is a policy of the government of India called the public procurement policy. So we'll understand how this policy works on, how well you can get connected to the public sector enterprises. Then we have the MSME Samadhan, which we do not want you to have a look at this portal because this is only for the delayed payments resolution part of it. But very, very, very important. After this COVID thing, after this pandemic subsides, we'll use this portal and in a very vast way where all the delayed payments and all those things will be addressed to. So this is a dedicated portal to address the delayed payments issues of the micro, small, and medium enterprises again. Then we'll also see about the Enterprise Development Center, EDC, which is there pan India now in all the DIs. We have got 30 DIs across India along with the technology centers and all. And in Hyderabad, this is one of the DI. Other than this, we have DIs, most of them located in the capital cities. And other than that, including the capital cities, we have around 2 or 3 DIs located in one particular state like UP. So that way, how we work on and how our complete umbrella is, and where do we land in the enterprise development center, and how we'll be able to reach to the last mile possible to the entrepreneurs will also be addressed in this particular thing. Then we have schemes of the Telangana state. I'll just focus on the T idea, T pride, and all. There is one TSI pass, a single window system, a dedicated system by the Telangana state. So that way, we'll have an overview of the TID and T pride, TID and T pride schemes for the SCSTs and for the general categories as well. Then we'll go for the steps being taken by the government to address this particular situation which we are in at present. So this also will be taken care of, and I'll tell you what government has planned or what is there in the pipeline, and overview of that, because so many things are being planned now. So to go with the MSME definition and the enterprise definition, I'll just tell you what is it all about, how a micro, small, and a medium enterprise is actually the definition of the micro, small, and medium enterprises and how this segment is maintained. In the manufacturing sector, we have ceiling on investment in plant and machinery. Now this goes as per the ceiling of the plant and machinery. MSME works in two sectors, manufacturing and service enterprise. So in that, what we have is we have manufacturing and service sector, and in this particular sectors, both ways, the micro, small, and medium enterprises are mentioned. If your investment in the plant and machinery, now let me be very clear in this thing, that what does investment in plant and machinery correspond to? Investment in plant and machinery is nothing but whatever equipments you have with you, okay, whatever equipments are required to run your industry, whatever equipments are required in the direct production of your items, of your equipments in the manufacturing sector, and in the service sector, whatever equipments are there to run your industry, to render your services, will correspond to the definition of the plant and machinery. For example, if you have an engineering workshop, in that you have what do you call it, your engineering machines, you have some machines. If I go to the engineering sector and say that if you have set up an engineering workshop where you have your machines like lathe machine, shaping machine, and all those things which are directly required for the production. That way, the value of those machines will only correspond to your plant and machinery, irrespective of your land cost, irrespective of your recurring expenditure, irrespective of your electricity, everything per se. Only the manufacturing part. Suppose you have the machine cost as 50 lakhs, then, or you can say less than 25 lakhs, you will come under the micro segment. If you have the next one, please, ma'am. Complete slide. Yeah. If your plant and machinery is from 25 lakhs to 5 crores, means the value, then you will come under this small segment. And from 5 crores to 10 crores, if your plant and machinery value is there, you will come under the medium segment. After the medium segment, the MSME status and MSME thing ceases. Okay, after that you become a large scale or a mega scale industry, but this MSME, as the name stands for, is only for micro, small and the medium enterprise. Same goes for the service sector. In service sector also, if your plant and machinery investment is less than 10 lakhs, suppose you have an automobile industry or a computer service institute, that way what would be your plant and machinery investment in that? You'll ask me the question that what will be my plant and machinery in a service level institute? So your plant and machineries would be whatever the computers peripherals you have to teach your students for the repair activities involved, that will correspond to your plant and machinery. So it doesn't go on turnover, it doesn't go on your land value, it doesn't go on your recurring expenditure. So that way we should understand this particular concept, and that is why I took little more time on this MSME Act, what it says, because this act protects your rights under the MSME segment. And what are the definitions which I have just told? From 25 lakhs, below 25 lakhs, you come under the micro segments. 25 to 5 crores, you come under the small one. 5 to 10, you come under the medium segment. Same goes for the service sector. It comes on from below 10 lakhs, you are in the micro one. 10 to 2, you are in the small. And from 2 to 5, you are in the medium segment. Service enterprises, like anything, even a beauty parlor is a service institute. Beauty parlor, automobile repair workshop, then you have computer institutes, you have security agencies, you have placement agencies, all this comes under the service institute. And manufacturing one, you all know, anything which is rendered as manufacturing is the production of the equipments. So that way I hope I have made myself very clear in this MSME Act and the definition of the enterprise. We'll go to the next slide now. Can we have the next slide now?
Sir, I have changed. Sir, I have changed the slide.
I guess there's some poor connection, network connection.
It's changed, sir.
Sir, please explain the previous.
Sir, I have changed to the next slide.
It's not visible over here, ma'am.
So can you just open it in your mobile otherwise?
Yeah, I'll do that, ma'am. One second.
Slide that is there, sir. You can keep this and talk as long as.
Okay. Fine. Now we'll go to the MSME schemes which are there. In that, we'll just see about the access to credit. The first one. In this, we have few schemes where access to credit. In this particular thing, we have like Mudra, Stand Up India, PMEGP, CGTMSE. So in the technology upgradation, we'll see about the CLCS TUS, which stands for Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme for Technology Upgradation, TUS. Then we have Digital MSME, Zero Defect, Zero Effect Scheme, Intellectual Property Rights, Business Incubation, Design Clinic, CLCS, again one more scheme. In that, we'll have a look about the technology upgradation one. In the marketing assistance part, we'll have a look about the public procurement policy. Then the procurement and marketing support and the international cooperation one. So that way we'll also see about the marketing assistance, the forward marketing assistance, which is there. And the enterprise and skill development. This is one more, as I said, it's a very important thing to understand that what is the what do you call it, the enterprise and skill development things being imparted by the ministry. In that, we'll try and understand about the industrial motivation campaigns, entrepreneurship awareness programs, the skill development programs, dedicated skill development programs which are there. So we'll also understand about all these things. And now to start with, we'll go with the access to credit. The first scheme in this is Mudra. Okay, in the Mudra scheme, the loan is provided to all the micro, small, and medium enterprises. There is no condition to that. All the enterprises can apply to a limit of 10 lakhs. Okay, so in the Mudra scheme, the limit of the loan is available till 10 lakhs in three segments. There are three segments to that. One is Shishu, Kishore, and Tarun. So, Shishu, Kishore, Tarun, there are three segments in this, in which the Mudra loan is provided and which is available to a maximum ceiling of 10 lakhs, and the loan is collateral free. So we should understand this particular thing, that the loan is collateral free. You don't have to keep a third party security or collateral in this particular thing. So that way, this particular loan is available called Mudra. This can be applied online, and it can also be done through your bank, wherever you have your account with, or else to get any loan from the financial sector, it is not hard and fast mandatory to have your savings account or current account in that particular bank only. You can avail this particular loan through the non-banking financial companies and all the banks per se, where you have an account or you don't have an account, it doesn't matter. So that way you can go to any particular bank where you have your account and you can get the loan assistance with. So that is what is all about Mudra. It is available in three particular segments called Shishu, Kishore, and Tarun. So you can apply to this particular loan going through your bank, and there is a checklist available for this particular loan. Online, it's available where you have to give your mandatory document called, the KYC documents which are there for that. Other than that, you have to give your whatever the what do you call it minimum things which are available with you, like your bank statement and also your credit history. So that has to be taken care of, and that has to be done in this particular thing to give this Mudra loan all about. So this particular loan is available. It is for everyone, irrespective of social category. You can have your social category. So irrespective of the social category, this particular the second one is Stand Up India. Okay, the second loan is Stand Up India. As unlike the last loan which is there, the last loan which is there, which is called the Mudra, the second one is Stand Up India. This particular loan is not available.
Sir, your voice is gone mute, sir.
Sir, you are not audible. Sanjeev sir?
We can't hear you.
Hopefully there is some connectivity issue. Wait for 2 minutes. He'll be rejoining.
I'll see, ma'am. I'll audible. Change the next slide, please, ma'am. Am I audible now?
Sir,
Yes, sir, you're audible.
continue with the
Yes,
stand-up
sir,
loan,
it
sir.
is audible.
Stand-up loan.
Audible.
Okay. So
We didn't,
we were there.
we didn't understand about stand-up loan.
Okay, okay, fine, ma'am. I'll go into the stand-up loan and I'll also have a recap about Mudra. Okay, in a very quick way, I'll have a recap about Mudra.
The voice is not audible
Loan.
clearly.
Sir, your voice is again going bad, sir. It's not audible, sir.
Yeah, lot of cracking.
నువ్వు చెప్తా అంటే అది వింటాందా
Sir, are you
Request everybody to go on mute and no video also, please. He's joining us back. Wait for a couple of minutes, please.
Hello. I can't hear anything, please.
Hello. Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you're
Yes,
audible,
sir.
sir. You can continue.
Okay, fine.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are
So
audible now.
okay, fine. We'll continue with that. And I was there on the loans. Okay, I was there on the particular slide of loans and which I was discussing about the Mudra loan and all. To have a quick recap, I'll just go with the loans now. Okay, to have a quick recap, I'll just go with the loans. I was discussing about the Mudra loan. In that, the loan is available till 10 lakhs and it is a collateral free loan, can be availed through banks. And you just have to go to the bank and apply for this loan. It is available in 3 categories called Shishu, Kishore, Tarun. You don't have to worry about the categories. You just have to say that whatever loan you want, because these categories only withstand for the for you to understand that Shishu is available till 50,000 and from 50 to 5 and 5 to 10 is the Kishore and Tarun segment. Okay, so this I was discussing about. It's a collateral free loan. The second one which we were discussing is the Stand Up India loan. So this Stand Up India loan is not for everyone. It is only for the SCs, STs and the women entrepreneurs. SC, ST and women of any category. Let's understand this. There is no classification of women to specifically be of SC, ST only to avail this loan. It is only for, it is for SCs, STs and women of any category. So that way we should understand this loan. It is from 10 lakhs to 1 crore.
Okay, and you know, there is a mandate of the government. Why? Because every bank's branch of the bank, not the bank, every bank's branch is mandated to give this loan to at least one SC, one ST, and women entrepreneur in a financial year. So that way we should understand this particular thing. It's a very good loan, but only for the greenfield enterprises. Greenfield means the new enterprises which you have not availed loan and which want loan in this particular thing called green enterprises, greenfield enterprises. So that way it is there. Now for those who wants to understand that I am in a partnership, or I am in a private limited company, or a partnership firm with a non-SC/ST guy, or you know, where there are two partners in a company, one is an SC/ST one and the other one is a journal guy. So how will you go? Okay, how will you go for this loan? In that, the SC/ST person should have SC/ST person should have at least 51% stake in the company. Okay, this 51% stake in the company should be there for that particular enterprise to become a SC/ST or a women-owned enterprise. So that way, this is there, that 51% of the stake in the company, the shareholding in a private limited company, all these things should be there for the SC/ST or in the name of a woman. So this is the Stand Up India loan about. No conditions in that, particularly only 18 years of age and all those things. You can go to the Stand Up India site, and you can go to SIDBI site also, Stand Up Mitra, and you can understand what are the detailed guidelines of availing this loan. So this particular loan is there for that. One thing which I just missed out was the in the slides, you know, when we were following up the slides, for anything to avail through the MSME ministry, or anything, any policies, any framework, guidelines, subsidies, or anything to avail of, we need to be having the MSME registration. This was the second slide which I just missed on, and we were just scrolling it due to the network problem. I could not access that. So only thing which is important for this is we need to have the MSME registration, which is also called Udyog Aadhar. You can also call it an SSI registration, or whatever,
Sir,
you
I
know,
have
the name you
one
can.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, last MSME after.
He can
After?
take the questions at the end, please. Let him finish the session.
I can take the questions. Yeah, please, no problem. Whatever, wherever, Sandhya ma'am, you can decide. You can take those questions, or any one or two particular questions.
That is what, if everybody starts asking, it will be difficult, sir. So any questions, they can take it at the end, please, sir.
Okay, fine.
Thank
So
you, sir.
I'll just, yeah, done, ma'am, not a problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So in this MSME registration part, for any industry to be an MSME, this particular one-page online document is required. It is a self-certification based document, and it is absolutely free of cost. If Sandhya ma'am, you can flash this slide of MSME registration once more, please, because we just scrolled it off and missed it. Okay, this was the second slide, I guess, MSME registration. So in this, to continue with it, yeah, this is that. So this is a sample of that MSME registration. Few points I'll tell you which most of the people miss in this is they land up paying for this document, which is sponsored absolutely free of cost by the government. So you don't have to pay for this. It is absolutely free of cost. Let's understand this particular point. When we go and educate people, when we go into semi-urban and the rural areas, we find people paying for this around 1800, 2000 rupees for a single page document called this MSME registration, because we access wrong sites. Now, for example, if I tell you now, sitting on the net, people who are having mobiles with you, if you type MSME registration in the open domain, in the Google only, if you type MSME registration, you will come across many sites, third-party sites, service sites, whatever you call them. These particular sites charge you for this document. But if you go to one particular site, which is a government site called udyogaadhar.gov.in, the link is there on the last line of this particular slide, where udyogaadhar.gov.in. If you click on this particular thing, you will be taken to this site, which is free by the government. You don't have to pay anything for that. We have seen people paying for this, a charging amount of 1850, 2000 rupees or something like that. Don't land up paying for that. So this is the first thing which we try and educate people. We try and disseminate the information of this document, because without this MSME registration, you are not an MSME. There were earlier documentation called EM Part 1, Part 2, Entrepreneurship Memorandum Part 1, EM Part 2, SSI Temporary, Permanent Registrations, and all those things. All these things have been done away with. Now you don't have to do anything except filing this document. And this is online, user-friendly document. It can be generated in 5 minutes. But let's have a commitment. Let's not forge in with this particular thing, because it's on self-certification basis. Whatever details you fill in will be taken up by the ministry that you have filled in the right details. No documentation is required for this. No PDF documentation, uploading of anything is required to be uploaded to get this document generated. You just have to visit this site udyogaadhar.gov.in. You will be taken up to a window which will ask for your individual Aadhaar card, your own Aadhaar card. Let's understand this thing. As you have your individual identity as Aadhaar card, similarly an industry has its identity as Udyog Aadhaar. So both are interlinked and connected. So that way your Aadhaar card will be mentioned over there and name as per your Aadhaar card. Moment you log in that, you will get a 6-digit numerical code as an OTP on your registered mobile number. Only condition is that your mobile has to be linked to your Aadhaar card, because for that OTP to come into your mobile, mobile has to be linked with your Aadhaar. If it is not linked, you will get a pop-up that please link your mobile with Aadhaar. For that, you have to go and do a manual procedure or something while going to a post office or an SBI branch or major banking branch who have this particular facility and a window to update and link your mobile with Aadhaar. Because most of us face this problem. At the time of our Aadhaar card generation, we have given our old mobile numbers and all, and we no more use those mobile numbers because we might have done our Aadhaar cards long back, 5 years, 6 years back. We are no longer in possession of those mobile numbers. So most of our mobile numbers do not exist, are not linked to our Aadhaar. So for that linking, you have to go to the post office or any other Aadhaar facilitation centers and link your mobile card. Without linking, you cannot do it. Okay, so that way, and sitting on net 5 minutes at home, you can generate this particular document. Only condition is this is only for the running industries, those who have started, because you need to fill in the date of commencement and all those things in that. So this was all about the Udyog Aadhaar registration. You can, and this is, in other terms, it is also called as UAM. UAM, Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum. This is also called UAM. So this was Udyog Aadhaar, and to go and to avail any benefits under the MSME scheme, you need to have this document called Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum. Okay, now to go with the next loan, that is PMEGP, Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. Okay, and in this Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, the loan amount which is available is actually from in the manufacturing and the service sector both, and it is the amount with the ceiling of the amount which is available is still 25 lakhs in the manufacturing sector and 10 lakhs in the service sector. So this particular thing is available in this. Ma'am, you can change the slide to PMEGP, please. Next one. Next. Yeah, this one. Okay, so this particular thing is available. The salient features is this, as I said, the nodal agency for that Stand Up India loan was SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India. I'll also, when we'll go to the last thing with steps being taken by the government in this particular pandemic, we'll also discuss about 2 major schemes launched by SIDBI in the last slides, or in when we discuss about the initiatives taken by the government. We'll also discuss about the SIDBI launched 2 beautiful schemes in this to overcome this particular situation and to help the MSME sector in that. So this particular PMEGP is the nodal agency's KVIC, Khadi and Village Industries Commission, or you can go to the KVIB, boards are there in the districts wise, and the District Industries Center DIC. So this particular scheme is available from 25 lakhs, up to 25 lakhs in the manufacturing sector and up to 10 lakhs in the service sector. And there's no income ceiling or anything for that. Few guidelines are there that if you are 8th standard, those guidelines are irrelevant actually, because the education standard is there in that. At least minimum 8th standard pass is required to avail at least 25 lakhs loan. Otherwise, you will be given 10 lakhs only. So irrelevant, not to be discussed, because most of us are educated, and that particular condition doesn't exist. But in the rural area, it does. So that way, this particular thing is there. PMEGP, Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. In the next slide, we'll see about the negative list of activities in that. In the negative list, what we call about this is you cannot get this loan in few negative activities which are listed in the list, like industry business, anything which is connected with the processing and sale of meat, intoxicant materials, BD, pan, cigarette, tobacco, and all those things. Business connected with the cultivation, sericulture, horticulture, because some things are protected. So that way we should understand some things are protected in this PMEGP thing. So it is, as the name suggests, it is Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. So how that employment has to be generated linking to this particular program, the loan is provided. So this is not like Mudra. Okay, it is a employment generation program. In that particular thing, you can avail loan blindly. It will tell this thing, and you can go to the loan. It is not an employment. You don't have to show any employment generation or anything in that. In this particular PMBGP loan, you will be called for an interview after your application is submitted. You can submit your application online. Go to the KVIC portal, and there you can register yourself and submit your application online. Your application will be processed. You will be called for an interview with the respective district industry center, where collector will chair that meeting, or an authority which is dedicated to do that will chair it, and they will take your interview that what type of employment generation you will start with this particular loan, and then only your application will be processed. So that way, there are some restricted activities, pashmina, wool, and all, some products, which are related to the transport activities, auto rickshaw and all. These are some specified products which are there for a particular industry to be met with. So that way we should understand. But this loan is available. It is from 25. It is still 25 lakhs in the manufacturing sector, and in the service sector it is still 10 lakhs. You can apply with this application online. For Stand Up India, you can approach SIDBI also, any nearest branch which you have of Small Industries Development Bank of India. You can visit that particular branch of the bank and get availed and get some information about the Stand Up India loan, because they are the nodal agency for that. They know well about this. You have to select 3 banks in that, and the paper, there is a pen paper method also, and you can apply online also. The conventional method also exists in that. In PMEGP also you can apply in both the ways, and but the only way is to better way to go online, so that you get aware about your tracking of the application, and all those things are available in this. So that way this was there. Yeah. Anything, Sandhya ma'am?
Sir, no, you can continue, sir. No, nothing.
Okay, fine.
Please go back to
So,
the previous. Can you please go back to the previous slide for a minute? The PGP slide.
PMEGP, this one? Yeah. You want me to discuss on this, ma'am, again?
Can you go one more, sir?
Can you go through if education industry or consulting education industry
All
part
request.
of this?
Can we take the questions at the end, madam? Please. Please, madam. Please note on your questions. We can take it at the end, please.
Madam, I am sorry. Actually, accumulating the questions, it will take long even
But
at the end.
true, sir. But everybody starts asking like that. Probably we will not be able to take us through the entire thing.
Only the first slide I would like to see, sir. First slide.
So, shall I? First slide.
Yes, sir.
Sir, let us go ahead, sir. Sir, let us go ahead and continue the session, sir. Questions can be taken later on, sir.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm requesting Mr. Veer Brahmachari to switch off his camera. Mr. Veer Brahmachari, please switch off your camera, as you are not familiar about this. Thank you.
Hello.
Continue, sir. Please continue, sir. Please.
Yeah. So we were there on this PMEG slide. Next, the one more, the credit facilitation which is available for the MSMEs is the CGT MSC. The next slide, ma'am. Recording. Yeah, CGT MSC. This particular loan is called Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. So this is a loan which is available, and the amount of loan in this is quite high. So we need to understand that moment the loan segment goes upwards, we need to have, you know, the certification, the government compliances, the inspections, and all those things needs to be followed in a dedicated manner, where this particular loan is given by the it is actually CGT MSC is a fund. Loan is given by the banks, where it is given to the the MSC loans up to 2 crores. Earlier it was 1 crore last to last year, and now they have increased the ceiling to 2 crores, and which is not backed by a collateral security or a third party guarantee. So that way we need to understand it is available for both micro and small, the manufacturing and the service sector. And credit for the retail, educational, training institutions and the self-help group are not eligible for coverage in this particular thing. So the educational training institutions, self-help group are not, they are not available for the coverage, because this is a trust. Let's understand, this is a trust. If we access this particular site as CGTMSC, they'll have a flash up window on that you cannot apply for loan directly under this. This is a trust which is backing the banks from where you are taking the loan. So that way this thing is available. It is still 200 lakhs, and the maximum guarantee cover is 85% of the credit guarantee under the CGS guarantee coverage. This I'll go to the next slide, and there you will understand that what is the particular ceiling which is available for the micro enterprise and for the small ones. So in that, this is the guarantee cover, as you can see in the next slide, which is available up to 5 lakhs, 85% of the amount in default, subject to a maximum of 4.25 lakhs. Up to 5 lakhs, 85% is available. Next slide, ma'am, you can change to the next slide so that they can, this one. Yeah, above rupees 5 lakhs up to 50 lakhs, 75% of the amount in default, subject to this much, 37.5. Above rupees 50 lakhs up to 200 lakhs, 50% of the amount in default. This is up to 100 lakhs and all. It is not backed by a collateral security. Other than that, we need to access the security part of it, where this particular loan, because it's a huge amount for the MSMEs, where for the micro segment and the small segment, which is not backed by a collateral security. So that way this particular CGTMSC loan is available, and the guidelines, there are in-depth detailed guidelines available for CGTMSC, where it differs from a micro to a small segment, and the conditions are there which are to be met in this particular thing are quite quite subjective in nature, where all the detailed guidelines have to be adhered to. So moment you go to the I could not flash up everything over here because there are so many detailed guidelines available. If I could do that, I could, this particular presentation would have gone a little longer, but you can access this particular thing. cgtmsc.in is the site for this. Moment you go to that, you can access this, and you can see where you land up in that particular thing if you are a micro enterprise or a small enterprise. This is not for the medium segment. There are so many things which are available only for the micro and small one, because what happens is government wants to handhold and uplift those sectors which need their assistance, which are not, which do not stand on their feet on their own, and which needs little more handholding and assistance to get them to a level. So that way there are so many things which are available for the micro enterprises, little lesser things available for the small enterprises, and for the medium one a little more less. Because what the government understands is that medium segments are there, but these small things or the loan part of it which are available, which we can give it to the micro segment more. So that way these particular segments are benefited a little more in that. So this was the thing. Then we'll go to the next slide of procurement and marketing support. This is again one more important thing which is there. The procurement and marketing support, in short it is called PMS. Okay, so this particular scheme is there of the Ministry of MSME. Those schemes which are there on top are actually by the Ministry of MSME, but the loan disbursing authority is bank or the financial agencies. For these schemes, the procurement and marketing support and all these schemes, which I'll come in the next slides, in the coming slides, for all these things, were the assistance authorities, implementing agency, which is our developer institutes or any body of the Ministry of MSME which is there. So that way we'll go to this particular scheme called PMS. This scheme is available for participation of individual MSCs in domestic trade fairs across the country. To understand in a better way, suppose suppose a micro level enterprise wants to go and visit a particular seminar or a trade fair or a conference or an international workshop or a national workshop awareness program, which will benefit indirectly or directly that particular micro level enterprise in gaining some expertise, in going to the next step, in having some technology advancement, which will indirectly benefit that particular enterprise, directly benefit that particular enterprise and indirectly benefit the nation as a whole. So that way, this particular PMS scheme is available. So in that, I'll come to the next slide where you can understand it in a better way that what is this scheme all about? It is about participation. We can have the next slide, ma'am, where we can understand it in a better way that participation of individual MSCs, it is only for the micro and small enterprises again in domestic trade fairs, exhibitions across the country. In that, what assistance? In that, what in that,
Naveen birthday na?
Hello.
Yo.
Am I audible?
Hello.
Continue, sir. Please
Am I
continue.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please.
There was some voice in the between. Okay. So yeah, this particular participation of the individual micro, small and medium enterprises in domestic trade fairs exhibition across the country. I'll come to the international one in the later slides. Let's understand about the domestic trade fairs only in these slides to come. International one will come next. So in this, any exhibition, anything, any fair which is there, which is an industry related fair approved by the government. Now these fairs are there on the ministry site where DCM, Development Commissioner MSME a site is there, or our MSME Hyderabad a site is there, or wherever you are, pan India, you can just access this particular thing on the MSME site, or you can download the app called My MSME app. There is an app called My MSME. Okay, there also you can get all this information, whatever I am talking about now. Okay, everything is available in open domain, everything is transparent. And to discuss about this particular scheme, where 80% of subsidy on the space rent for general category is provided, 100% subsidy on the space rent for SC, ST, women, northeastern region, and the physically handicapped, or we can call them as Divyangjans. Okay, this particular 100% subsidy is available in this scheme called PMS, Procurement and Marketing Support. So 80% for the general category and the OBC one. Now this space rent corresponds to nothing but the rent of the space which you will take to exhibit your product, services and all, if you are participating in any exhibition. Like suppose for example, you know that there is a Delhi trade fair. Okay, we'll take an example of that. If you want to go there as an MSc, only thing is to be for ministry, for its administrative feasibility and all, we invite at least 10 applications all to in a lot or together. Single applications, when you send those applications, it will be difficult to administratively process those applications. So that way around 10 applications, and if they are like-minded industries, well and good. So that way these applications are processed. In that, this is limited to the 30,000, the amount is limited to 30,000 for this subsidy of the space rent. 100% contingency expenditure subject to maximum of 15,000 or actual, whichever is less. Again, the ceiling is 15,000 is that. Now one more condition in that, one MSC, one micro enterprise. We'll talk about when I'm talking about MSC, it's micro and small enterprise, but when I'm using the words micro or small, you can say it is an MSC. So that way, any enterprise who wants to avail this can avail this only for 2 events in a calendar year. Okay, because every time if one industry goes or one enterprise goes, it would not be suitable and beneficial for the other ones. So that way, this particular PMS scheme is available. There are so many details, guidelines to this, and this can be accessed, and you can get in touch with me in the last slide. I have my email ID and mobile number also. You can get in touch in person, and after this lockdown and all, I'm available in the office also. You can discuss details about these schemes, because it was difficult for me to pen down everything and put up on the slides. So that way, on the next slide, next slide, when we see the next one, in that the participation of MSME delegates in international exhibition, trade fairs, and buyer seller meet in foreign countries. That way, this is also available, as I was discussing. In the international cooperation one, I'll come to this because this is linked to that. So let's go to the next one. Next slide, where I'll come to the international cooperation. You can have a look at that. Okay, the international cooperation. One second, just give me a second, ma'am. One second. Just a second, ma'am. I'm just flashing over there. Z certificate. Yeah, international cooperation. In this, again, for technology infusion, upgradation, export promotion of Indian MSMEs. This is again what the ministry understands, that movement and industry goes for the international exhibitions and all, they will indirectly upgrade their technology, get some inputs from there, and that would be beneficial in the part production and all those things to enhance the line of chain, the technology chain, the supply chain enhancement will be there in industry. For this particular thing, this international cooperation scheme was launched. Okay, in that, any government organization, registered industry as a society, trust associated with this MSMEs can take part, and this will go as a delegation. These MSME delegates to other countries will go in the form of a delegation to attend their trade fairs, conference, summits, workshop and all. In that, 100% of the economy class airfare is reimbursed, and the maximum participation or the maximum fee allowed in this is 1 lakh. The space rent, as I said, it is 100% maximum to 1.25 lakhs. Airfare 100%, but the limit is 1 lakh. 1 lakh. When you're going abroad, your airfare will be reimbursed, and this is not a subsidy factor in this. Let's understand there are two things called, one is a subsidy and the other one is a reimbursement. In this particular thing, you have to pay from your pocket first, then the reimbursement part of thing will be followed. So registration fee, as I said, there are some registration fees and all those things which are there in the foreign countries. In the registration fee part, some things will be some part will be reimbursed to 5,000, space rent 100% and all those things. So these are the guidelines of the ministry, where you can get some assistance in going abroad, in attending their trade fairs, seminars, workshops, summits and all, where some benefits will be imparted to you in terms of your airfare, in terms of your the space rent, the registration charges, freight charges and all those things will be taken care of. So that way it is there. Now one more thing is there, the organizing international conference and all summits. Now for the MSME associations who are there with us, okay, who are listening to this particular presentation, for organizing the international conference, summits, workshop related to the MSME sector in India by any industry association or a government association. Okay, there is one slide, ma'am, in that minimum maximum rupees 4.5 lakh is mentioned. I take after this, one second. Yeah, organizing. Yeah, this one, the previous one. Yeah, 4.5 lakhs. This is for not for the MSC as an individual agency or individual enterprise. This is for the MSME associations. Any industry association, if they wish to participate, if they wish to organize any international conference, summits or workshop, related to the MSME sector. As we are talking about, this presentation is all about the MSME sector. Anything which you want to organize, suppose anybody else is organizing abroad, we are going and attending over there, but you can also organize any international conference, summits and all. In that, the reimbursement which is available is up to 4.5 lakhs. The condition is it should not be done in a 5-star hotel, because now austerity measures come in picture. Okay, then airfare for the foreign speaker resource person, you can call those foreign speakers resource person, which will be 2.5 lakh for 3 speakers. So that way this is there. Other than that, there are some in-depth guidelines available. If you can get in touch with me in person, any industry association which is there, I'll be able to address your issues one-to-one that way. Now we'll go to the credit link capital subsidy scheme in the next slide. So this particular scheme, it is, in short, it is called CLCSS, Credit Link Capital Subsidy Scheme for Technology Upgradation. This scheme has to be applied through your banks, through your lending agency. For this scheme to be availed, you need to take a loan first. Okay, when you take a loan for your upgradation of any machinery, in that, this particular thing which is available, you will get a 15% of subsidy in that to a ceiling of 15 lakhs. Now you'll ask me, how will I avail this scheme with? Whichever bank you have taken loan with, you can go to the bank, ask them that you want to apply to the 15% of subsidy which is available under the CLCSS scheme, because that bank only can apply for you. They have the login ID, passwords and everything for the CLCSS. It is credit linked. The name itself suggests that it is credit linked. You have to take a credit from the bank. For that credit, the existing credit which is there, because this scheme was on hold 2 years back, but now they have started with this again. This scheme has come up in picture, and now people they were applying for this. Before this lockdown only, we received so many applications for the CLCSS. In this scheme, the industries, if they want to they upgrade their existing plant and machinery to the state of art technology, they whatever loan they take for the machinery upgradation, out of that, to a ceiling of 15%, means 15 lakhs to 15 lakhs, which is the subsidy available of 100 lakhs. The maximum amount is 100 lakhs of the machine or the loan which you have taken. You'll get a ceiling of 15 lakhs subsidy in this particular scheme. 15 lakhs for the general category and the OBC one. For the SC/ST one, this scheme changes its name to SCLCSS, Special Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme. In that, the subsidy component is 25 lakhs, although all other guidelines remain same. Okay, so in that, this particular scheme, there is one sector, 51 subsector. There is a list of 51 subsectors. You can avail only in those subsectors. That particular thing is also available on the site. You can just type CLCSS in open domain. You'll find all the guidelines of this. So this particular scheme, it changes its name to SCLCSS when it goes for SCs, STs. Now for CLCSS, it is Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme, where subsidy component is 15 lakhs only maximum. In that, it is 25 lakhs. This is linked to the credit from the bank from where you have taken the credit. So that way, other guidelines of the subsector and all, 51 subsector condition is only for the general and the OBC categories. For others, for the SC/ST one, there is no subsector category, means they can avail in any category. But for those 51 subsectors which is mentioned, I could not flash up all the 51 over here, but you can go to the CLCSS guideline and then get some assistance with this. Okay, so next we'll go to the, again, this CLCSS also has few components called TUS, Technology Upgradation Scheme. This is a common scheme called CLCSS. In that, one was the 15% component of the subsidy. In that, I said the name changes to SCLCSS, where 25% component is there. Now, some more schemes are there in this called Z certification scheme. Z means zero defect, zero effect. I'll come to the next slide. The second one is intellectual property rights. Most of the MSCs, most of the MSMEs in the sector are not aware of this IPR scheme. So to understand it in a better way, I'll come to the slide as well. Lean manufacturing component competitiveness scheme, it's there in a cluster approach, LMCS. lean manufacturing clusters are formed in this particular scheme called LMCS. Now support to MSEs through the business incubators. It is for the college, what you call the educational institutes and the technology centers where they can avail this BI scheme, business incubation. Then we have technology upgradation scheme, MSEs, which is through the cluster development programs. I'll come to those schemes also. Now to go to the next slide, we'll come on this Z certification scheme. This scheme is zero. Z stands for zero defect, zero effect. Now to understand the scheme in a better way, this is not a very old scheme. It was started when the present Prime Minister was there in the first term. Z certification scheme. This is called zero defect, zero effect. Zero defect in the manufacturing part. This scheme is only available for the manufacturing enterprises and not for the service enterprises. So zero defect, zero effect. Zero defect in the manufacturing process and zero effect on the environment. So it should be safe from the environment point of view, and it should be clear from the defects through the manufacturing process. This scheme was launched. So this scheme is available for the manufacturing enterprises. It is nothing but an add-on qualification to your industry where you will get a quality certification called Z. So this certification is available for the micro enterprises, small enterprises in the manufacturing and the medium one in the manufacturing sector, where they have to go for a a form where they have to apply for this scheme. There are minimal charges for this. 2,000 rupees for a micro one. There are some assessments in that, 2,000, 18,000 like that. So those industries who wish to go for this scheme, it is a technology upgradation. Suppose you are in the export sector, you are supplying your products and rendering your services outside, they will ask for some sort of certification which is available with you. This Z particular certification is an indigenized certification. You can say it is somewhat like ISOs. I say it is somewhat like ISOs and all. This is a certification which is given. Moment you go for this particular form, your parameters are analyzed, and there is one certification that the defense sector also. In Z certification, those units who supply things to the defense PSUs.
Actually, yours Arakere and Akshay Nagar when it started.
What, ma'am? Hello.
Sir, you can continue,
Hello.
sir. You can
Okay.
continue, sir.
Yeah. So that way, what we were discussing is this Z certification scheme. This Z certification scheme. It is as the. It is for the technology.
Actually, we start April onwards.
Yeah, it is for the it is to develop an ecosystem for the zero defect manufacturing in the MSMEs. Okay, enable manufacturers to have quality products, constantly upgrade their quality standards. Okay, and get this certification. So that way, it is nothing but indirectly it is supporting your quality management standards. And when you go for export, when you go for high tenders and all, this particular certification will certainly support you in terms of quality. So, MSMEs can go for this particular certification. z.org.in is the site for this. Okay, z.zed.org.in is the site for this. You can register yourself over there. You will be taken up to a small survey, which is called the desktop assessment, or say self-assessment, then the desktop assessment, then the particular certification will follow. And this is maintained by QCI, Quality Standards of India, QCI, Quality Council of India. Okay, it's nothing but that way they are the implementing agency for this. They will have your forms and all those services filled in, and they will analyze your parameters and award you with this certificate of Z. The next slide is the intellectual property rights. Okay, in this, most of the MSMEs, they lack information in this particular thing. Suppose you have designed something which you do not want anybody else to copy. Suppose you have something which you register yourself as a patent for. Suppose you want to register trademarks. Suppose you want to go for industrial designs, certifications, then industrial, geographical indications and all. There are so many things. For you to understand, there are things like Kalburgi, Tuar Dal and all. It has got a GI tag. So tagging that particular GI, so many things are there. Saris and all, Dharmavaram saris and all those things have got GI tag. Suppose an industry association wants to go for that particular thing. Ma'am, you can change the next slide to IPR, please. Yeah. So this is what I was talking about, intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights in terms of patents, trademarks, registrations, GIs, copyrights, anything. So why I'm discussing on this particular thing is it's a very hot topic these days, because India lacks in filing more patents, because there are so many foreign countries who file their patents every now and then. And what we do is we do not have information about this, and the MSME, particularly the segment, MSME segment, does not have that much of information about how to file this, how to go for this, what will be the attorney charges, how to legally file a patent and go for a trademark and all. And they lose up, getting their own things, your own trademarks done and all, and they do not go for this particular thing. So what do we need to understand is we have to go for this thing called IPR. Anybody who wants to register a patent, trademark and all, MSME ministry is giving some sort of reimbursement for this. Suppose you go for filing a patent, you can do it outside also. You can file you can hire an attorney and do it. Your patent will be filed outside, but you won't get any reimbursement to that. But here in the next slide will come across the benefits for the MSMEs in the IPR scheme. In that, you can get to know about this particular thing. What are the grant of the patent and GI registration, domestic patent, foreign patent, GI registration, and the trademark one. You can have a look at this particular slide, that in the domestic patent, maximum grant per application proposal will be 1 lakh. That will be the reimbursement factor. It is again not a subsidy, it's a reimbursement. Whatever charges incurred in filing a patent will be reimbursed to you to a ceiling of 1 lakhs in filing a domestic patent. Then when you go for a foreign patent, it will be 5 lakhs. Then if you go for a GI tag, as I was discussing about the GI tag now, 2 lakhs of reimbursement will be followed in this. Trademark is up to 10,000. So that way this particular support is available for the MSMEs, for industries and associations which are there in the Hyderabad domain or Hyderabad, Telangana and all, sorry, the Telangana and Andhra and all. So there we have these particular things called IPFCs, Intellectual Property Facilitation Centers of the Ministry. In the previous slide, ma'am, we can just flash the previous one. In that, you'll see what is, there are two facilitation centers called ICRISAT and NIMSME. ICRISAT, this is in Patancheru in Hyderabad. ICRISAT one institute is there, that is Intellectual Property Facilitation Center of the Ministry of MSME. So any help you need related to patents, trademarks, GIs, filing or intellectual property rights in anything, notwithstanding to your own activity, to others' activity, any information you need, you can get it from this. They can file a patent for you also. Then you have NIMSME, one more institute called National Institute for MSME, which is there in Yusufgura, Hyderabad. This is one more institute. This is a dedicated training institute of the Ministry of MSME. They also have this Intellectual Property Facilitation Center. In short, they are called IPFCs. So one IPFC is there in NIMSME. They can also assist you with any type of patent filing, registration, and the attorney guidelines to that. So this was all about IPR. Let's go to the next one called Lean Manufacturing Competitiveness Scheme. This lean manufacturing concept is a concept of a cluster-wise approach for reducing your waste, enhancing your productivity, and improving overall competitiveness. How do you do that? When a group of, at least earlier there were 10 industries, a group of 10 industries, now they have reduced it to 6. Now, if more industries come up, some more things can be done and the developments can be made in this, and some more schemes they may get revised or they may get enhanced, seeing this pandemic situation which is there. So in that, this particular thing is there, which is called Lean Manufacturing Competitiveness Scheme. This is a cluster-wise approach where like-minded industries, this is only for the like-minded industries who come up and ask for their quality improvement, where a qualified consultant is hired by the ministry, where some minimal charges, 20% of the fees and all will be paid by the industries, the cluster of the industries. 80% of the thing will be reimbursed, or the charges of the consultant will be paid by the ministry, where that particular person, that particular consultant will be employed for all the group of 10 industries who have come up as a cluster to improve their technology and to have some sort of technology and the manufacturing process upgradation, where this particular scheme has got marvelous results. Those clusters who have come up, those who have approached in a group with similar line of activity, they have got immensely benefited, and at least their 10 to 20 to 50 35% of their production has increased because of these schemes. One more scheme in this is the cluster wise approach, which I'll come to that also. So this particular scheme is there, where a consultant is employed for you and the charges will be taken care by the ministry, and a minimal charges are required to be paid by the group of industries. In the next slide, this particular scheme works on the Japanese concept of 5S system. You might have heard about this 5S system, the S, how the order is maintained, the shine, standard, sustain, and all, visual constraint, how your standard operating procedures will be enhanced, Kanban system, and all these systems will be followed, which the consultant will take care of. And then this thing will be implemented. And when this is implemented for a period of 18 months or so, after that, you will come across the results which, in the increase in productivity wise. So that way the scheme is there. Support to entrepreneurs. In the next slide, we'll come across what are the supports to entrepreneurs provided by the ministry, and which is there. You will be getting this particular supports in the associations as well. There are industrial motivation campaigns. There are entrepreneurship awareness programs called EAP. More or less all the 30 institutes across India are having these entrepreneurship and skill development programs. This entrepreneurship awareness program is hello. 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 Yeah. Am I audible? There is a lot of
Please
disturbance.
continue, sir. Please continue.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the support to entrepreneur, as I was talking about training part of it. In that, the industrial motivation campaigns, there are 2 weeks training programs for the beginners, which is called entrepreneurship awareness program, where we impart the training of starting a business. It's a 2-week beginners capsule, you can say. And all these are certificate oriented programs, except the industrial motivation campaign, which is organized in the technical colleges and all. So if you have those people, if we have academic institutions also listening to this presentation, if you want to come up and ask us for having an industrial motivation campaign in a college, academic institutions and all, we'll be happy to help you in that. We'll come for a day and guide your the final year students and all in the technical colleges and all, where we can guide them about the industrial activities, because it is not only to go for job after we pass out. Business is a very good option, and starting an MSME is a brilliant option. So that way, if any academic institution needs our help in organizing the industrial motivation campaign, we can come to your colleges and then we can guide them about how to start industry, how to go, and what is business. We'll guide them what is business. So that way we can help you out in this. Some entrepreneurship awareness programs and all, it's a 2 weeks. As I said, it's a beginners capsule for the beginners to understand the business. This is a certificate oriented program, and government certificate is imparted after this. Entrepreneurship and skill development program, again, it's a 6 weeks design program inclined towards one particular skill. That skill could be anything. If we have a group of around 30 people who are interested in a particular thing, be it jute bag making, or you say candle making, or anything related to technical activities, CAD CAM courses and some technical laws, we can organize these programs also. Management development programs, again, you can 1 week or a 2 weeks program in that for the management graduates to understand business in a greater scale. That way, these support to the entrepreneurs in terms of training is provided. Now, again, to the next slide, we see the enterprise development centers. These centers are there in all the institutes pan India, where we have our MSME development institutes, and there is a some schemes are there in pipeline where these entrepreneurship or the enterprise, you can call it, in colleges we still have entrepreneurship development centers or EAPs and all, and this EDC concept came into picture to reach the last mile possible, and which is there in the talukas, which is there in the mandals and all, for us to reach over there, make them understand, because we sitting in cities and all, we are aware of most of the things, but our domain is not restricted to that. We have to go to the villages, we have to go to the rural area, semi-urban area, and make them understand. So this concept came into picture because of that. Enterprise Development Center, all our institutes have got this EDC. In Hyderabad also we are having EDC. In Vishakhapatnam, for people from Andhra, we have an institute called MSME Development Institute in Vishakhapatnam also. It is there in Autonagar. Okay, for those people which are near to that, because I guess I'm addressing people from the Andhra and Telangana. So in Andhra, we have it in the MSME Development Institute in Vishakhapatnam, and in Hyderabad, we have it in Balnagar in the industrial estate in the Hyderabad. So that way, this EDC is there, which provides handholding support, credit facilitation through bank linkages. We also organize the type of activities where we call bankers to our place. So those people who need credit assistance, in this way, every quarterly or every 4 months, 5 months, we organize these loan velas, credit facilitation programs, where you can get assistance with. And because it's difficult when you go to a banker, sit with a banker, it is difficult for the banker to understand your concept because of the workload the bankers are having. So what we do is we in turn call bankers to the place, to a common platform, where we give you a platform to understand this thing, for the banker to understand your requirements. So that way, market linkages, project report preparation, these all things are there which are done in that. For people who are already having Udyog Aadhaar, it's better to register in the MSME data bank. There is one more thing called MSME data bank. What happens is, when you go for any international conference or you avail anything called procurement and marketing support, we pick up your data from the data bank. So I would request and advise the MSMEs who are already into the Udyog Aadhaar memorandum segment, and who are already registered MSMEs, who already have Udyog Aadhaar, to do register for this MSME data bank also. You can, I'll flash the link on the last slide. You can go to that and you can register for this MSME data bank, because most of the schemes, if suppose tomorrow government is starting any policy or framing any guideline or anything, they'll pick up this data from the data bank for them to understand that these particular like-minded industries are there in a geographical domain and they do this type of business. So let's make a policy for them. So this particular data bank is very important for you to register. NSIC, as I said, NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation, one of our sister organization. We have sister organizations like Coir Board is one, NSIC is one. Then we have, you can call it as the Yusuf Gura Institute is one. And there are so many, KVIC is one. So many sister organizations we have. NSIC is one more. They also have a store purchase program. They also have a certification. You can go for NSIC certification also, and you can get this particular thing done. Then state government promotional activities and all agencies, I've all told you. Then creating awareness about industrial motivation campaigns, I've already told you about this. Technology tie-up transfer, whatever MOUs we have with with the industries and academia, those MOUs are available with the particular development institute. You can get assistance with that. Ideation, incubation and new product development, startup facilitation, export import, IPR, enterprise health clinics and all. These all things are available in the enterprise development centers. You can get assisted with everything, because it was difficult for me to flash up everything over here. Again, GST registrations, return filing, these all things are also there in the Development Institute. Import export code, project report preparations. Most MSMEs, if they want to avail loan, they they face little difficulty in preparing the project reports and all. For those people who need project reports, we have a compendium of project reports, and anyone who who wants it, and something, and because it's a 50 or 60 pages, 50 or 60 reports which are available. So those are all ready-made project reports available. You can use it as a template and start your own business. So these reports are available, and in open domain also available. We also made a compendium of that. For those who need this, I'll flash my email on the last slide. You can get in touch with me. You can get in touch with CI, MSME, Sandhya ma'am and all. So they will in turn, they can also take these project reports and all and circulate among you. So that way it is done. Next slide, as I said, cluster development program. This is again a CDP, cluster development program, and the scheme is called MSE CDP. It's not an individual industry, scheme. It is for a cluster. So one second. Yeah. So it is MSc Cluster Development Program. So it is nothing but a group of like-minded industries coming up again to have an infrastructural development project. Okay, infrastructure development project or a common facility center. Suppose there are industries in a particular area who lack in some infrastructural development and who wants that something has to be done for the ministry, for the industries in that particular geographical domain, for them to assist with a common facility center and all. So this way, these common facility centers, some bottlenecks are liquidated in that, infrastructure developments are made in assistance with the state government. This project is also, assistance is taken from the state government for this. So it depends on every state to state, it differs. So that way a cluster wise approach can be made. There are many guidelines to that, which I could not put it on this, but there is a program called MSc Cluster Development Program for the associations, for the industries in a group, in a cluster, like the Lean Manufacturing Competitiveness Program. Now, in the next slide, we'll talk about the public procurement policy. Now, this policy is nothing but a marketing assistance, a forward linkage to the MSCs. Now, for us to understand it in a better way, any public sector enterprise you see, okay, in this particular domain, if I talk about BDL, Bell, BHEL, or Midhani, or any public sector enterprise, whatever you come across, that particular public sector enterprise has been mandated by the government. Okay, has been mandated by the government to procure at least 25% of their annual procurement. Okay, be it our department, be it anyone, be it any public sector enterprise, any public sector undertaking has to procure their 25% of the annual procurement from the MSC sector, not from the medium industries. As I said, this thing, some specified guidelines are there for the micro and small enterprises only. This particular scheme is not there for the medium enterprises. That means this scheme is there only for the manufacturing enterprises or the service enterprises. In the manufacturing enterprises, if they have their plant and machinery investment below 2 CR, okay, and same for the service one below 1 CR, if they have this particular thing, then only they come under this particular segment called MSC, micro and small enterprises. In that, 25% of the annual procurement is done through the MSC segment only. Okay, so let's understand our business. We have our business ready, only we need to catch it, because these public sector enterprises, they can procure 75% from Tata's, Birla's, Ambani's, anyone. 25% they have to procure from the MSC segment. So that particular thing, that is why this particular policy was made, called Public Procurement Policy 2012. Next slide. What are the benefits in that? In the 25% target of the procurement, a sub target is earmarked for procurement from the SC/ST entrepreneurs. Okay, 4% of target. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay, there was some sound in the background. Yeah. So out of this 25% procurement, 4% is earmarked for the SC/ST owned enterprises. Okay, 4% out of 25%, and 3% is marked for the women entrepreneurs. This women entrepreneurs thing was not there till the time this PPP was revised. Now this has been revised, so 3% has to be done from the women entrepreneurs only. Suppose I'm BHEL, I have 1,000 crores of procurement, then in that 250 crore I have to procure from the MSC segment, and out of that 4%, out of the 250 crores, 4% in that from the SC/ST entrepreneurs. I cannot do this thing that I shift my procurement from SC/ST. If I'm not getting any SC/ST, I can shift it to the general one. No, I cannot do that. I have to show my target, and I have to procure 24% from the SC/ST. Same goes for the women entrepreneurs. I have to procure 3% from the women entrepreneurs. For this, there is a dedicated platform, online platform, which is there, which is called MSME Sambandh. I'll come on the next slide in that. That way you can get connected to the public sector enterprises, any enterprise which is there in a nearby area and all. And one more benefit in this is, which is again a beautiful benefit, is there is a procurement support in that. What does the procurement support means? That 20% of the total tendered value, okay, approximately. So what you will get the preferential procurement treatment in that. Suppose we two industries, suppose Sandhya ma'am is one industry, I am one industry, we both are competing for a tender, okay, and I am an MSc and she is not an MSc. Suppose we both are competing for a particular tender, okay, and I am not the L1. L1 means the lowest one. I'm an MSc, but I'm not the L1. Sandhya ma'am is the L1. Okay, what I'll get the preference. Ideally, the contract should go to L1, but being an MSc, as I'm an MSc, and government has some provisions made for the micro and small enterprises segment, I will get the benefit if I am quoting. Suppose she has quoted her price as 100 rupees for a particular item. Okay, and I have quoted my price as 115 rupees. I'm coming in between the 15% margin, 100 rupees and 115 rupees. Ideally, she should be getting the contract, but being an MSc and I have quoted my margin to 15% of her quoting price, I will be asked to supply minimum of 20% of the contract, irrespective of whatever she has won. Ideally, contract should go to her, but she is not an MSc. I am an MSc. So the contract, a part of the contract will be awarded to me, provided I am in that 15% margin. If I have quoted my price as 130 rupees, she has quoted as 100 rupees, then I won't get anything. Okay, so this particular thing is there. This particular, you can say, an advantage is there for the MSc segment to go for the public tenders. All these are public tenders. So go for the public tenders and get the preferential procurement treatment. One more benefit which I'll get in this is I'll be exempted from paying the tender fee and EMD, earnest money deposit, okay, which can be 2 to 5% of the bid value or anything. It can go to any value. So that way, approximately, if we take 5% of the EMD for a particular tender, okay, if she is also competing for that, she's suppose she's not an MSc, I am an MSc, we both are competing, she has to pay her EMD, but I'll be exempted in paying the EMD. My money will not be blocked, and I don't have to pay any tender fee. Tender fee can vary from 500 to 2000 rupees, anything. So or even more than that. So I'll have a waiver in the tender fee, and she doesn't have to pay any EMD. These all benefits are available with the Udyog Aadhaar, whatever we have the MSME registration. Then goes for the 358 items reserved list. Now, what is this list about? You can just search online. There is a list of 358 items which is being revised now, because so many obsolete items are there in that. So this particular thing is being revised. So in that 358 items exclusively, starting from, I'll give you an example of a broom. That broom, suppose BHEL tomorrow wants to procure a broom, BHEL, BED, BDL, anyone, any public sector enterprise, I'll not name any enterprise, any public sector enterprise, suppose tomorrow they have to procure a broom or something like that, they cannot go in open domain and float a tender for that. That is exclusively reserved for the MSc segment. They have to procure from there only. So this particular thing is there in that, called 358 items list. This next slide, ma'am. In the next slide, what we have is the MSME Sambandh. So this particular Sambandh PPP portal for the MSMEs, where they can have a look. This is the site, MSME Sambandh. And this is a procurement. Not all the PSUs are listed on this, but at least when you access this site, you can access the requirement of the public sector enterprises. Okay, you can access what are their requirements from the MSEs. All the requirements of a public sector enterprise cannot be filled by an MSE. Why? Because there are some defense PSUs. There are some strategically important PSUs which cannot offer everything to the MSE. Let us understand this, because there are some strategic things. So some defense PSUs cannot offer everything to the MSEs. So that way we should understand that there are some MSEs which are there. There are some guidelines of the PSUs which are listed over there, where you can understand what all things are available for you and where you can pitch in this particular thing. If you see about the target, the MSE target is more or less fulfilled by all the PSUs. They lack in fulfilling the SC/ST and the women target of 4% and 3%. So for the SC/ST friends and the women entrepreneurs who are there in this, they can very well go for this particular MSME Sambandh and also register as their registered vendor in their particular sites. Now the next one is the MSME Samadhan. Samadhan is a delayed payment portal. Okay, Samadhan is a delayed payment portal, which is actually we don't want any MSE to access on this particular portal, because we don't want their payments to get delayed. We want everybody to grow. But still, if any MSE has some problem in the delayed payments, then they can access this particular portal, where their case will be referred to the MSE Facilitation Council, which is there in every state, and that particular council will look after their cases, why their payments were delayed. And in this particular portal, you just have to log in with your Udyog Aadhaar. You have to upload your invoice, last 3 invoices in a PDF format, and then you'll get a tracking ID and all, and then you can access this particular portal called MSME Samadhan. So this Samadhan portal is for delayed payments. Okay, and because I don't know, we wish there are no payment issues after this pandemic also, but if there are some payment issues which government will take some time to resolve, because this was an unseen situation which has come. So that way we should understand, we should we should cope up with the government things and the guidelines whatever being issued time to time, and understand what is there. So that way you can access this portal also. Digital MSME in the next slide. Digital MSME is nothing but an enterprise resource planning portal for the human resource management. It's nothing but cloud computing. You will get some benefit in the cloud computing, where you can access the supply chain management, inventory control. In the next slide, ma'am, it is flashed. If you can change the next slide, please. Yeah. So this is the enterprise resource planning. It's a portal. It's a digital MSME kind of thing, where you can get assistance in accounting, manufacturing, design, regulatory compliances, and GST and all. Okay, this is nothing but a cloud computing kind of thing, ERP software. And what benefits you get in that is there in the next slide. Benefits in the cloud computing, you have no more burden of investment on hardware, software, and infrastructure facilities and all. Every individual MSE, if they have their own cloud computing, own software, see the burden on that. This is nothing but a pay as you use model. Okay, so the user does not have to invest upfront in that. Initially cost specific gets reduced substantially, and maintenance and upgradation of the software, because those industries which maintain their own ERP modules, they pay huge on its maintenance. Okay, in this particular cloud computing kind of thing, you don't have to pay for, you just have to pay and use model, pay as you use model. That is there. In the next slide, you'll come across this. The website is mentioned in that, digitalmsme.gov.in. It is nothing but to encourage cloud computing in the ICT, information and communication technology applications. Subsidy is in that, there is a subsidy model in that. Maximum subsidy is 60% per year, up to total rupees 1 lakh. The user charges for a period of 2 years. It is only for 2 years for the MSEs to access this portal of ICT. So you can go to the digital MSME portal and access this particular thing. So that is what is the digital MSME all about. GEM, for those industries who are not registered on GEM, wants to supply their item, because you must have seen messages floating on WhatsApp that government was in dire need and still in dire need of the products which can help fight this pandemic situation. In that, be it masks, sanitizers, and all those things. So all those things government wanted to procure it through GEM, but we found that most of the users or most of the enterprises were not registered on GEM. Okay, GEM stands for Government E-Marketplace. It's nothing but an e-commerce platform like Amazon and Flipkart. Okay, when we can access those with so ease and accessibility, we can do this as well. Only thing is, for my friends who are there, for the government agencies, we are the buyers for that. Suppose I have to procure a pen or a mouse or a laptop, I cannot go in open domain procure through that. I have to log in through my ID in GEM as a buyer, and for me you will be sellers. Okay, for me you will be sellers, so you can register yourself as a seller in GEM and get assisted with all these things, and there is no delayed payment kind of thing in this. Within 10 days you will get your payments in time. It's nothing but an e-commerce platform. You can understand it by Amazon or Flipkart or something. One second. Yeah. So this was all about the GEM portal. Any details to that, you can access me anytime and I'm available. You can ask to go through Sandhya ma'am and all, then we can very well assist you in that. Then we go with the TSI pass. There is something called Telangana State Industrial Project Approval and Self-Certification System. TSI pass, there are some policies in this. TSI pass is nothing but a single window system for the ease of doing business, which is started by the government of Telangana. In that, rightly clearance legislation is easy, government compliances are easy, deemed approval provision, so many things are in there in this the TSI pass portal. In that, there are two good schemes which are there. One is the idea, that is Telangana State Industrial Development and Entrepreneurial Advancement, the idea scheme. This particular scheme, let us understand, it is for the general and the OBC category. Okay, means this scheme is there for the general OBC category. For SC/ST specifically, we have one more scheme called T Pride, which will come in the next slide. In this, you'll have so many things in that: stamp duty 100% reimbursement for land and lease, 25% rebate in the land cost up to 10 lakhs, and 25% land conversion charges, fixed power cost reimbursement at the rate of ₹1 per unit. More or less similar things are there in the T Pride scheme for the SC/ST with a little more subsidized component. As you see that in the fixed power component cost reimbursement, you have ₹1 per unit. There you have 1.5 rupees per unit. Like that, things are same in the T Pride also. Only thing is the subsidy component is little more. Okay, so 15% investment subsidy is there in the fixed capital investment. Okay, up to ₹20 lakhs, reimbursement of 100% net VAT, CST and all GST charges for 5 years. Internet subsidy under Pavlavadi scheme. There's one scheme Pavlavadi, in that internet this subsidy is there. Seed capital assistance is there. Then you have 50% reimbursement of the cost involved in skill upgradation training and the local manpower limited 2,000 per person, and all those things are there. So that way these things are there. Sandhya ma'am, are we running short of time? What?
Sir,
Shall I
actually,
continue with the same pace?
Yeah. Please continue. There are other 10 slides, I think. You can continue, sir.
Okay, if you want, I'll go a little fast in that. But
Yes. Because
okay.
people are waiting to take, they want few questions also to be answered.
Okay, fine. So I'll just go with this fast. Okay, so this was all about the T Idea scheme. T Idea, it is for the women-owned enterprises, additional 10% investment subsidies there under the fixed capital investment. You can go through these slides, and some infrastructure development things are there in this, where you have till your door all these things will be set up by the government. Investment subsidies there, infrastructure support is there under the T Idea scheme. So you can just go through these slides and get access to this under the TSI pass. T-Pride, I was talking about the SC/ST owned entrepreneurs, 100% investment subsidy, 100% reimbursement, 33% rebate, 25% land conversion, seed capital assistance. Again, as I said, fixed power cost reimbursement at the rate of 1.50 per unit. All these things are there. Similar things in a little subsidized and enhanced way. There's one more slide to that. Reimbursement of 100% net VAT, CST, GST, and all those things are there. So you can please go through these slides, and you can just type TID at tpride.net. You'll get all the information available, and how to apply. Everything is there through TSI Pass. Okay, additional benefits for the SC/ST women-owned SC/ST women-owned enterprises. They'll get 100% share in the part. Only thing in this case is that for availing these subsidies under the T-Pride scheme, a woman or an SC/ST should have 100% share in the partnership or the private limited company, irrespective, not this thing, irrespective of whatever the share of the men has. If it's a partnership one, they should have 100% share in that. Okay, so that way only these industries will be termed as the women or the SC/ST owned enterprises, unlike the Stand Up India component and all those things where you were having 51% share. Here you should have 100% share in the state government scheme. Okay, so that way you can just have a look at this. The land which is allotted on the lease basis for a period of 10 years with a lease rent of minimal, it is minuscule of 100 rupees per annum per acre or part thereof. You can understand the subsidy factor in this. So that way it's there. Some steps being taken by the government. As you know, the Honorable Union Minister, he has said in this statement yesterday that Centre is working on the financial package of 1 lakh crore for reviving micro, small and medium enterprises. In that, this is nothing but a due payments from the public undertaking, central governments to be liquidated. Okay, all efforts are being made in this. So that is what this is being going on, where 1 lakh crore of this financial package, they are working on it. Central government is working on it, and Union Minister has also urged the Labour Minister for rupees 80,000 crore, which is lying with the Employee State Insurance Corporation, to tide over the immediate crisis for the MSMEs. How well that fund can be utilized.
Unaudible.
Am I audible now?
Sir, sir, please continue.
Hello.
It's clear, sir.
Okay.
Please continue, sir.
Please continue,
Okay.
sir.
So that way, this particular thing is there, where the government is looking towards, working on a financial package of 1 lakh crore for reviving MSMEs. This particular thing which I was talking about, SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India, has launched these two particular things called SAFE. SAFE, and the next slide you will come as 1 minute. In the next you have, SAFE is the fund, main SIDBI, which is where you can avail loan at the rate of 5% within 48 hours, up to 50 lakhs. But this is to fight for the MSMEs who are manufacturing any products or providing any services related to fighting coronavirus. Now, to purchase any equipment in that, any asset, service, raw material, anything, this particular loan is available. Okay, in that 25% what you will give as collateral, what you'll give as the margin money will be taken up as collateral. Okay, no separate collateral is required. You can go through this particular scheme called SAFE, SIDBI Assistant to Facilitate Emergency Response Against Coronavirus. So this is a very good scheme launched by SIDBI. Okay, there is one more scheme called SAFE Plus, okay, which is also there along with this. You can go through that site as well. So in that it is there. Now what government has done, has announced a stimulus package focused on the MSME sector. Okay, to address their medium and long term issues. Business continuity measures which are launched by the RBI, emergency credit lines which are launched by the public sector banks, concessional interest rate which is launched by SIDBI, as I said, deferred GST payments, as you all know. Okay, while there are good steps being taken, but still some more steps are required to be taken. Movement and everything is there in pipeline. Every day deliberations are on these particular subject, how well benefit this MSMEs can be rehabilitated and should not be suffer a lot, should not suffer a lot for that. What RBI has taken up is rescheduling of payments, term loans, working capital, grant of moratorium of 3 months for the payment of installments falling due between so and so, easing of working capital financing in respect of working capital facilities which are there, extension of realization periods of export products. Okay, in that presently value of goods and software exports made by the exporter is required to be realized fully by the country within a period of 9 months from the date of exports. Now what they have done is disruption caused by the pandemic and realization of the export proceeds for the exports made up on a July 31st, this can be extended to 15 months from the date of export. Some things which have already been taken, other things are in pipeline. Tax relaxations, as I said, extension of last date of filing a revised income tax return, that is there. Extension of Aadhaar PAN linking, that is done. Date of making various investment payment for claiming deduction, this is again ATC and all. So this is also done by the RBI for the tax relaxations. Indirect taxes, central excise due in March has been extended. Last date of filing of appeal, then refund applications, this has also been done. Then you have union minister, as I said, in the EPF, the notification permits withdrawal of up to amount of basic wages and dearness allowance for 3 months up to 75,000 for those who have employees in the EPF domain. Okay, they can have a look at this. 75% of the amount standing to the members credit can be withdrawn. So this is there. Business immunity platform, you can go to this particular site, investindia.gov.in. you can have a look at the business immunity platform, what initiatives government has taken, what initiatives the financial sector has taken, what are the things which are helping the MSMEs, how to come out of this distress. So all these things are being done. Then DIPP, DPIIT has set up a control room to monitor status of transportation and delivery of goods, essential commodities. Their phone numbers is flashed over here. You can, and their email ID is also there. You can always track your internal trade, whatever is there related to goods, transportation, manufacturing, and all those things. Then we have SBI emergency credit facility. Now most of you are aware of this. That maximum loan amount of 200 crore or 10% of the existing fund-based capital. This is there in the. This is particularly by SBI. The facility is available till end June. Okay, for the MSME borrowers, these loans will be available at a flat rate of 7.25%. This is for everyone. It's there for the existing facilities. So this SBI customers who have availed loan, particularly to the SBI, it is there. So this also can be taken care of. And you can understand more details through the SBI site when you go. This is a emergency credit facilitation. But not only SBI, most of the public sector banks, nationalized banks have started their credit facilitation, starting with their existing customers, starting to help their existing customers. They have started with this particular thing. So you can have a look at this as well. Some relief taken under the TSI pass by the state government of Telangana. In that, again, we have the operational period of the incentive schemes, T-Idea, T-Pride. From this scheme is going to be continued till 31st March. It was there earlier, but now they have extended until further orders. So scheme will be extended now. And same goes for the IIPP and T-Idea, T-Pride, where 31st May till 31st May it has been extended. Now we have come to the link of the slides, udyogaadhar.gov.in. So this was the link which I was talking about for NSIC registration. NSIC is a, is one more single point registration system which is called SPRS, which has got a 2 years validity. Now for Udyog Aadhar, it has got a lifetime validity. And this is an editable document. If you file anything by mistake, by wrong, erroneously or anything, you can always edit the document. So this editing part is available through the Udyog Aadhar. Then NSIC, as I said, it's again a similar certification, but to avail the store purchase programs of the NSIC, you need to have this NSIC certification. For having NSIC, you need to have Udyog Aadhar. So this is a 2 years validity certification called NSIC. Vendor registration, you can go to Sambandh. I already have talked, this thing, shown you the slide of Sambandh, msme.gov.in. Data bank, this particular thing which I was talking about, those MSMEs who already have their Udyog Aadhar registered can always go to this data bank and register themselves in the data bank. This is nothing but, it's of ease of doing business for us as well. As I said, tomorrow when something is there, then this can be, we can access your data through the data bank also. GEM, you can go to gem.gov.in. DGSND, DGSND, this is Director General Supply and Disposal. This is again one more state, and the GEM is a baby of the this thing, DGSND, Director General Supply and Disposal. So you can go through that as well. PAN card, this is thing which is flash for you. In the last next slide, we have our details. You can access our site as msme.gov.in, MSME Development Commissioner site. Okay, we have our address as MSME Development Institute, Balnagar. Phone numbers are mentioned. Okay, our website is there. So you can always access this and get to know about the latest things which are coming up and the existing provisions, guidelines, framework of the government, which is available on the website, including the training programs. So all those things can be accessed to. And in the last slide, my mobile number, email is flashed. You can very well, ping me up or ask me anything related to that. You can go through CI MSME, and then also your queries will be addressed. Whatever best we could help in this particular hour, and wherever we can help you as, we'll be happy to help in that. So that is what was the presentation all about. You can please, Sandhya ma'am, they can go for their questions, please.
Request everyone to type your questions. Otherwise, one by one you can ask. If somebody
Yeah.
starts,
Can I,
others please.
Sandhya ma'am, can I start? This is Roshan here.
Yeah, please.
Sanjeev sir, thank you very much for the detailed description. It's really helpful for getting to know all the details and schemes available. So, quick question about the MSME data banks. Hello, sir.
Yeah. You are
MSME
audible.
data, while you were telling about, so I was trying to register in the MSME data bank. Looks like here it is very specifically for the manufacturing industry only, right? Because the questions are very specifically asking how many, what is the production capacity, measurement units, and product name, and all the stuff, which is not there for services industry. For example, for my case, it is software development, so I cannot enter these details. So I cannot register here as a MSME data bank.
True. It is there for the manufacturing one, given the because it is actually the service sector also is there, but service sector domains we can also pick up the data from the Udyog Aadhaar site, which is accessible to us in every particular state. They are accessible. But if you are manufacturing one, register in the data bank also. So this is nothing but it is just to access the data which is there. And for any, it is per se, you are absolutely right. It is more or less inclined towards the manufacturing sector.
So we are not able to register at all in data bank, for example.
Yeah, in depth, you can just ping me up on my mail. I'll just tell you how to do that. You can do that. I'll just tell you how to register.
Fine, sir. I'll connect you later. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, please. Anytime. I'll tell you how to register. Email ID, I guess I had passed it on the last slide.
Yeah, got it, sir. We got it, sir. Sanjeev sir, thanks a lot for this session, and it was very informative.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
digital MSME, the portal is not functioning, sir.
Portal is not
functioning.
No. At present. There are most of the schemes which are, some sort of things are being revised for the benefit of MSMEs. Nothing will go less than this. Everything will be little more, because understanding this particular situation which is there and this hour of distress which we are in now, most of the things we are going to be, for the beneficial of the MSMEs. Okay, for that some particular portals and these things are under maintenance, are under upgradation. Moment it is functional fully, you can very well access that. And it will be done very shortly. It's not a, it's on temporary basis.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sanjeev sir, this is Ashutosh over here.
Yes, sir.
Sir, as you had, thank you first of all. This is an amazing session. When it has to be benefit of humanity, you had mentioned that 315 items have been reserved exclusively for purchasing from MSME. Now, how do we, assuming that the item I am into is not there in that list, can we get that item added to that list? Is there any ways? I wanted to understand on that.
Your voice is breaking up, sir. I'm not able to hear it clearly.
Am I audible now, sir?
Astosh, you're not audible completely. Your voice is breaking. Can you
Voice
just
is
type your
breaking.
question on the chat window?
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. Anyone else wants to?
Yeah, good evening, madam.
Please tell.
Yeah, I do have one question. Can you please send me soft copy so that it can be useful to understand the things which I'm going to do and which can be that will be good for to revise once again.
Sure.
We also
Okay.
will be making this video available. We'll be also making this video available for everyone, so you can also repeatedly say, you can replay and understand better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hi, sir. Hi, sir. This is
Hi, can I go ahead with my question?
hello.
Yeah, this is Achal. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Manjari. I just have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So I'm MSME registered, and I wanted to understand that if I want to participate in any of these international trade fairs to promote my products, will MSME provide any assistance? Because the slide that you showed
Yes.
was more to do with trusts and all.
No. What is your line of activity, ma'am?
Jewelry, sir. Online jewelry and jewelry export.
Yeah, ma'am. You can very well go for it. Okay. You can very. Are you into the manufacturing part or what? Or designing?
Yes. I design and manufacture.
Okay, ma'am. You can very well go for this scheme called International Cooperation Scheme. Any which ways, any seminars or anything, seminars or exhibitions you want to participate in. As I had flashed it in the slide, you can go with the help of this International IC scheme. It is in short called IC scheme. Okay, so you can, and the other one is called PMS. So if you want to go for any domestic trade fairs or participate in that, or you can visit, see, there are two things. One is you want to visit an international exhibition which is there and come back to India taking ideas from there. The second one is you would wish to participate, put up your stall over there, register over with them, and you can enhance your products and activities over there. So that way these two things are there. In both the things, this IC scheme is applicable. So you can send your details to me on my mail. Okay, and I'll tell you what are the next future programs which are available. Okay, and future programs which are available abroad, or are you interested in taking part in the domestic exhibitions as well, or only the international one?
So I'm mainly into export. Domestic, yes. I would want to have a look at it though, and decide accordingly.
You can go for it, ma'am. You can go for it. I'll share the details because I could only pen down a few details over here in the slides, because otherwise this presentation would have been extended along. So that is what I could not present everything over here. But notwithstanding anything, you can just ping me up on my mail and share your contact details. Okay, and share your visiting card and all, and what are the specific queries you have. I will surely suggest you which are the exhibitions which are available, domestic as well as international exhibitions which are there, because all those have to be approved exhibitions by the government. Okay, we cannot go in any exhibition which is not approved. Okay, so that way you can just share things with me on my email and I'll get back.
Sure. So these details will also be available on the MSME site, or it's not really
They are
shared?
available, ma'am, but some sites are actually under maintenance now. Okay, because of the upgradation part of it. Okay, but they are available. You can also see our DC MSME site with the international exhibitions and all, because exhibitions are planned for a current financial year. And as this financial year ended in a note where all of us were there in a spin. Okay, and we could not decide, because 31st of March this financial year got over. So government, they could not, in this meantime, last 2 months we are struggling with this pandemic. Okay, so this way the next financial year, from 1st of April, every program of the government related to financial orders, loans and everything is planned for a financial year. Okay, so that way this will be planned very shortly. Okay, moment we are out of this lockdown, because our offices have already started functioning. Okay, we are no more in the lockdown kind of thing, because we have started functioning. Either we are working from home, or in Delhi head office and all, they have already started functioning. So deliberations are on, and things are getting into their place, and they will be available very shortly. Okay,
So
so
sir,
that
we
way
have
you
a
can just,
platform like GEM. Yes, so
yeah,
that's
we have a
helpful. Thank you.
platform
I'll
like
send
that.
you a note. We have a
Yeah,
platform
please
like
send me a
GEM,
note.
and
Yeah.
right, so that's again a sister concern of say of like a sister concern of MSME. So does
Yeah.
MSME have any tie-ups with international
No.
bodies which has access or has a platform like GEM in countries outside India for us to network? Because maybe I'm into exports with international countries. So is that a possibility? It'd be nice to
Not
go through the government for this.
True, ma'am. Not a dedicated platform like GEM or an e-commerce platform which we have with other agencies, because all these things, as per the WTA agreements and all, these are available for everyone. Every citizen can access. But there are some specific MOUs with some country, like SAARC countries, we have different MOUs. Like ASEAN, we have different MOUs. And with the other countries, we have different MOUs. So government has MOUs with the specific countries and all. So not a particular platform like this, but still, if there is anything, you can just share your details, ma'am. I'll get back to you on this 100%.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. May I ask a question?
Yeah, ma'am, please.
Hello. Can I ask?
Please go ahead, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah. See, we are actually manufacturer of this soil moisture sensors and soil stations, all these soil monitoring systems for precision agriculture. And what
Okay.
I want to understand is we are like 4 people and 2 are women, but the total thing, if you say we are not 51%, like 47% is the total women entrepreneur. So will it be considered as a woman-led
No,
startup?
ma'am. No, ma'am. It will not be considered as a women startup, because as per the government guidelines, if you are 4 people and you have a
Yeah.
50% sharing, then also it
Yeah.
is not, you have 47%, 47 is not at all there. Even if you have 50-50, then also you are not a women enterprise. You need to have 51% sharing of women in that. So
Okay.
you have
Okay.
to take it as per that, ma'am. Without 51%, it will not be termed as a women enterprise.
Okay, and second thing I want to understand is that you said about 25%, 20% or 25% of this public
Yes.
should
Yes.
actually have for MSME. So see,
Yes.
because any of these tenders, and how do I come to know that because there is a requirement of these things, but as a MSME, I never come to know. So how do
Okay,
I know?
I will tell you
Yeah.
about that, ma'am. See, there are 2 things in that. First, you can go to this MSME Sambandh, which the link which I have flashed on the last slide. Okay, you
Yes,
can
sir.
go to this MSME Sambandh portal. Sambandh means connection between public sector enterprises and the entrepreneurs, MSMEs. Okay, so in Sambandh, most of the public sector enterprises have listed their requirements from the MSCs. Okay. So and other than that, they have their dedicated window of vendor registration also. If they do not have, notwithstanding, you can see the requirements of the public sector enterprises listed on this MSME Sambandh portal. Go to their particular site and get yourself registered as a vendor for availing any assistance. They will ask you for your Udyog Aadhaar and all those things. Okay. But what they will what they will ask you first thing is, are you a vendor or not? When you will say no, I'm not a vendor, then they will ask you to register as a vendor for that particular PSU.
Okay,
Let
sir.
us
Sir, I
understand.
have.
Yeah.
Sir, can I connect with you later on, because I have a lot of queries about loans and
Of
other
course,
things.
ma'am. You
Thank you,
can
sir.
very well get in touch with me. You can share. You can see my mail. You can contact Sandhya ma'am also. You can contact CI MSME. and then they will share my details also with you. Otherwise, you have my email ID and all. So I'll request Sandhya ma'am, whoever is asking, you can share that.
Madam, if you can fill up the feedback form, whatever queries you have, we will address it.
Yeah.
If we can
Thank
have
you so
another
much.
two
Thank
more
you.
questions. Two more
Sir,
questions.
this
Sir, I
is
have a question. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Sir, Hello.
Our company has taken Udyog Aadhaar, and I want to know, is it from MSME Data Bank?
Okay. See, MSME, you have taken Udyog Aadhaar.
Yes,
Data
sir.
bank is nothing but an additional thing which you are required to do, which we request you to do actually. Okay. In the
Okay.
data bank, you can register yourself with the help of your Udyog Aadhaar. This data bank is nothing but a readily available information for the ministry and the government, where we can access your details, or you can also access your details. You can access other details also who are in the similar line of activity. This is nothing but a platform which they have made for the schemes which will come in future and all, for ministry to understand that there are so many people in a particular geographical domain. Okay, for them to come up with a new scheme or something like that. So this is an additional platform. You can very well register yourself with Data Bank, ma'am. And I would
Sure, sir,
request
I'll
you
do
to
that.
do it. That is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Thank you,
This
sir.
is
One more question, sir.
Hello, sir. Yeah. Good
Sir,
evening.
you also
Hello.
spoke about an MSME app. So I was going through the Play Store and I saw many apps out there. So if you could share the
No,
exact link to ma'am and the team, it
okay.
would be really helpful.
You can just, okay, I'll share that app, ma'am. You can send me a request on mail, ma'am. Just ping me up on mail, ma'am. I'll request you for that.
Sure, sir, I'll
And
do
I'll
that.
address
And thank
all
you
the
for
queries.
sure, and thank you for the
Yeah.
informative session.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
evening,
yeah,
sir.
thank you.
Hello.
So
Hello.
this will be the last question.
Yeah. Yeah. This is hello.
Hello,
Hello.
yeah, ma'am.
Please
Yeah.
proceed.
Sir, sir, this is Ashok.
ये मम्मा ये
Hello.
देखो SY.
Hello.
Am I, ma'am, you were breaking
Hello.
up. Yeah, tell me, ma'am.
Yeah, sir. This is Ashok Chakravarti.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Tell me, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. I am the Ashok Chakravarti from Hyderabad. Yeah, we have the recently we are introducing the 3D technology to India.
Yeah.
It is a 3D mobiles and 3D tablets, 3D televisions. We are
Okay.
it's a global company actually. My
Okay.
chairman in that global company is a CTO and a board member. He is plan
Okay.
to introduce this technology in India. Already it is a materialized. Right now I have the 3D phone and 3D tablet.
Okay.
So we need help from MSME. What type of help can you do? Why? Because we have the initial some fund also requirement to launch. We,
What
we
is,
we we are also plan to establish a unit in Telangana, assembly unit.
that is very good. What would be your approximate investment in the plant and machine? Are you coming under?
Yeah, please.
I need to understand what would be your
Yeah,
approximate investment in the total plant and machinery, whatever you have, all the plants together.
yeah. I think it's approximately above 1,000 CR.
1,000 CR.
Yeah.
No. See,
No, no.
because thousand.
Initially we required only up to 100 CR. It's we later we have to approach other financial banking. Initial
No,
funding, is it possible?
you are talking about the financial assistance you need from the government to run your industry, isn't it? Am I right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, no, I was talking about, have you registered yourself as an MSME? Means, do you have Udyog Aadhaar? What is your investment in the plant and machinery you have? Approximate investment. Means, what is your industry's investment in the plant and machinery's value? Because that will correspond for you to become an MSME and or not. That is what I want to know.
Okay. I can.
Not a problem. You can do one thing. You have my email ID. Just share your investment in the plant and or share your contact details, or you can call me. I'll talk to you one to one so that I can understand your requirements better.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, because it's difficult for me to understand now. But if you call me or share your email ID or ping me up, I will be able to guide you in a proper way.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question related to something out of the MSME. Hello, excuse me.
Madam,
I
can
have
you
a
please,
question.
Madam, please, can you fill up the feedback form? We have come to the end of the session. Thank you so much, all
No,
the
you
participants.
wanted us to hold on till the end of the session, but at least give an opportunity to ask a question, right?
Yeah, that is what you just fill up
Halted
the
me.
feedback form.
No,
No,
no.
you
Yeah, now,
halted us when we
Sanda
had
madam,
a
Sanda madam,
question.
please allow. Sanda madam, please allow. Please allow.
Okay.
Please allow.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that patience of yours, Mr. Sanjeev. My question is, I'm not exactly from the education industry, but we cater to education industry and we are called career counselors and career guidance or career planning consultants, right? And we are a partnership company and this is a two-women run company. So are we eligible for any kind of funding or support from the MSME standpoint in case we register?
Yeah, ma'am. If you register, because yours, what I understand is yours is a service sector enterprise. Am I right?
Correct. Correct.
So you can register yourself as a service sector enterprise corresponding to the plant and machinery investment you have. You will be reflected as a micro, small or medium level enterprise in the Udyogada document itself. As I was discussing about that, you can register yourself as a service level enterprise and the micro and this thing will be automatically judged upon your investment in plant and machinery moment you file the Udyogadar. Okay, ma'am. So you are very well applicable and you are there if you register yourself as an MSME, this particular thing of MSME will be open to you for availing all the benefits, subsidies, components, framework of the ministry. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
So this will be open for you because you are very well a service level enterprise. You can go for it. Any particular specific assistance required in filing up the Udyogadar or anything per se, you can get in touch with me. Okay, through email or phone number or whatever. I'll guide you even for filing the Udyogadar. You can do it on your own. It's a 5 minutes document, but still notwithstanding, because there is something called National Industries Classification Code, NIC codes, which come when we file the Udyogadar. So normally we get confused in that. Okay. Because it's an auto generated this thing codes which gets picked up on their own. So when you fill up the documents, we can fill up our details like KYC details can be easily logged in by us. Only thing is when this NIC codes come in picture, we get little confused. Okay. So notwithstanding confusion, you can get in touch with me. I'll assist you in filing that particular document also.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your patience to help me out. One more aligning question that I am an handicap entrepreneur. In case if there is a hypermarket that I want to take up, will that come under MSME and hypermarket business?
Ma'am, actually MSME hypermarket business, a small hypermarket, you can say it comes under the MSME segment, as restaurants also come under the service segment. Same goes for yours also. Only thing is it should not be a pure trading activity. Pure trading in the sense you cannot just take the items in the wholesale and supply in the retail. That will be a pure trading activity. Other than that, any little bit of value addition to any of your activity will come into the MSME segment.
Okay. I will
So you
connect
can get
with
in
you
touch with me, ma'am, anytime, and I'll help you in anything which you say, including your Udyogadar registration.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your patience. Bye bye.
So thank you all. We have come to the end of the session. Thank you, participants, for being very patient. Sir, thank you, sir. You have a lot of information about MSME and how we have to apply it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the visit, sir.
Thank you, Sonia, ma'am. Thank you, CIMSME, for giving me this opportunity, and I appreciate the by the entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.